You're listening to the Seen and Solved podcast brought to you by Hubbard-Hall. Better results, less chemistry.
So, Connor, I want to talk about your next hero product. Let's talk about paint stripping now. Actually, paint, e-coat, wet paint, powder coating, the Aquastrip 1200. Tell us a little bit about that product.
So the Aquastrip 1200 is unique in that it's a biphasic solution once it's been used, basically meaning there is two components that kind of work in tandem in order to achieve the paint stripping results that we're going after. We have a aqueous caustic package, which really helps to break down the chemical integrity of the paint surface. Does this by basically cleaving the bonds that kind of hold those paint particles together. And then there's the organic package, which helps with the swelling and delamination of the paint physically in and of itself. So those two kind of work in conjunction and are able to really go after a wide range of different paints. It's primarily kind of reserved for those ferrous materials, given that it does have a really high pH. But when used in the right application, it can really go after a wide variety of different paints and able to remove them rather effectively.
It's pretty fast acting, correct? I mean, it's something that really gets to work quickly, correct?
Yeah, there's a number of different factors that kind of go into how long it's going to take for a paint to be able to remove. That includes the number of layers that we're dealing with, the thickness of those layers individually, and then as they accumulate on top of one another. Also, you have just the surface geometry of the part. If you have a very smooth surface on the crystal level, you're going to have much less adhesion basically between the paint and that surface compared to maybe a cast part where you're going to have a lot of adhesion. So a number of different factors kind of go into it, but for a wide number of applications that we use this in, you're able to strip paint in roughly 20 minutes per layer.
Since it is a hero product, tell us how it became a hero for one of your customers. Whether it was e-coat, paint, powder, how well did it do for them?
Sure. So we were working with an off-road engine or off-road diesel engine manufacturer, and they were implementing a remanufacturing operation. And one of the objectives that they needed to find was, okay, how do we remove the paint that they painted these engines with in an effective way? Because they were dealing with engines that they had previously put out onto the road or into the field, and then also stuff from other competitors that they were remanufacturing. So they had a wide variety of different high quality tenacious paints that can really withstand a lot of stress from the environment. And they needed a way to be able to remove those so that they could basically refabricate these products and put them back out into the field. Some of the more difficult paints being some that kind of formed an enamel over time as they just were constantly exposed to the high heat. They've kind of glossed over and really kind of hardened on themselves. And they also had some marine-based engines that have a really highly tenacious paint that has to withstand, obviously, the salt and marine life atmospheric conditions. So those sort of paints were really difficult for them to remove. We were able to implement the Aquastrip 1200 in a way that was really able to go after all these different types of paints that they were seeing and strip them in an effective way so that they could get the most out of the engines that they were rebuilding.
Connor, I want to thank you for talking about some of the hero products. We appreciate it, and we will hopefully have you back soon to talk about some more. Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim.
The Seen and Solved podcast is brought to you by Hubbard-Hall. For more podcasts, visit hubbardhall.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe, rate and review, and join us on social media. Produced by Allcast.